Hey, welcome back to Talking About Games, and in today's video, I'm here to help out you new players. Because just like me, about 2.5 years ago, that's right, I'm relatively new to this hobby. I went to my first tournament, and it was horrifying. I was worried I was gonna mess up everything. My dice rolls were gonna be bad, I wasn't gonna know anything. And I know there's a lot of new players out there just getting into the hobby. Welcome, it's a great hobby. And so today I decided to help everyone out with some helpful tips that you can definitely use, and I wish I would have had when I first joined this hobby. And if you've been to lots of tournaments, also leave comments down below helping people out. Now this is the army you need to bring. This isn't a meta list building or anything like that. I don't play anything meta. I play what I have and what I think is fun. But enough rambling, let's get into the video. Alright, first up, before you go to the tournament, know the basic rules. Now, I'm not saying you're going to remember everything. You're not going to remember every heroic. I still sometimes have to recall, go back to the book. What the heck does heroic resolve do? But really, know the movement. Know what fight value does. Know exactly what it means to be trapped. And these small things, as long as you have the base knowledge, get that down before anything else. Do a practice match on the table. I mean, if you get the Skilleth box set, or even the most recent, the War of the Warhammer box set, it has a couple of practice matches on there that you can do. That starts off really basic. Do that. I'm telling you. Just even getting the fundamentals down is going to help build your confidence for when you go to the tournament. And granted, you're still probably going to be lost in the sauce. But knowing that, hey, warriors move 6 inches, people on horses move 10 inches, that's like half the game right there. I know the rulebook can seem kind of intimidating. When I first joined this hobby, I was just flabbergasted by how much there really is to movement. Movement is a whole section. But once you really break it down, it's not that bad. And again, when you get to the tournament, feel free to ask questions. Like, we want people in this hobby. Trust me, you're not going to turn anyone away from asking questions. If anything, we're going to make sure we're over accommodating because we want more people to play with. So, also that's the other thing. Don't be afraid to go to tournaments. I know it's hard. I didn't think I was going to. I thought I would find 1 or 2 people to play with. But this is a very niche hobby. And so getting a group of people together is like fundamental for this. Because it's awesome when you actually have maybe like a group of 10 to 20 people show up. And you get to play 3 games. It gives you your fix. You know what I mean? I've never really done drugs before. But I have to imagine maybe something like that. I don't know if that's a good comparison or not. Okay, so once you figured out your basic rules, the next thing you gotta do is figure out what army that you definitely want to play. Now for me, my favorite character is Boromir. Freaking Boromir, son of Gondor, son of Denethor. I knew my first army had to have something with him. And thankfully, it turns out there's a great army right now called Reclamation of Osgiliath. That was my first army I played with in this new edition. But that's the thing. If you want to play meta, go for it. By all means, find out what you think is really good. There's whole pages on Reddit that go over that. But for your first tournament, play something that you really enjoy. And if you're brand new to Lord of the Rings, what looks the coolest? You want to do the freaking Witch King on a Fell Beast? By all means, do that. You like the way the elves look? You like the way you've heard a bunch about Legolas? Play him. Anything that kind of helps you find a groove in the game and makes you more attached to it, do it, because there's a good chance you're gonna lose, and you want to have fun losing, and you want to have fun losing with a character that you enjoy and come up with crazy stories, how maybe the King of the Dead stabbed Legolas to death because he got jealous or something. But find an army that's one that you can memorize before the tournament. 2, that's affordable. I think that's another thing about this hobby. It's kind of pricey. So like Isengard and Minas Tirith, some of the cheapest units you get, and you can fill it a lot of. So yeah, find an army, find one that you enjoy, and learn all their special rules. Don't learn everyone else's special rules. It's gonna be impossible. Whatever army that you really like, stick with that and memorize everything. Because the last thing you want to do is go home, and then you forgot, dang, it's a +1 to wound. I should have been wounding everything on 4s or 3s. Oh my god, my standfast was 12 inches. Everyone could have been staying a bit longer. It's stuff like that that even veteran players will just forget. Especially in this new edition. There's so many new rules that everyone's trying to remember. So don't feel afraid of, hey, I'm going to check my book say that as much as you need, because you want to make sure that you're playing the game right and making it fair for both you and your opponent. And in the end, that's just going to end up being a better match for both of you. So find your army that you like, find some characters, and find out your special rules. Once you have those taken care of, then you can head to the tournament. Alright, so you found your local scene, you found your local tournament. By the way, if you're in the Texas area, we have a huge community here in Discord. Come join us, it's a lot of fun. Anyways, you found the tournament. Now you know you probably need some dice, a measuring tape, and a tracker. We'll get to the tracker in a little bit. But for the dice, you definitely want to bring different colored dice. Because in MESBG, you have something called might that can adjust the roll of the die. And so, if you're in a group battle and you have a hero and some regular soldiers in there, you don't want to just roll all the dice at once and be like, oh, well, this 5 and this 4, that was for my hero, and then the other ones were not for my hero. That's not fun. The other way you could do it is by rolling them individually, and that can just take time, especially when tournaments, there's a time restraint on it, and rightfully so. So, an easier way to do that is bring different colored dice, saying, hey, these light blue ones are going to be for my hero, and then these dark blue ones are going to be for the regular soldiers. You roll them, and everyone can see what you can might and what you can't. And this also is true for two-handed weapons. They get a -1 to their dual roll. The banner, that also gets a -1. So, again, there's just... bringing multicolored dice is just going to be hugely beneficial to you. And, of course, bring your measuring tape. Definitely do that. And then a tracker. You can either find some 3D printed ones. There's some awesome websites like the Tabletop Admiral that you can print out a list of your army and it comes with trackers on there. Or you can just do it by hand, or some people do it with some dice that represent your might, will, fate. And yeah, again, heroes is like the biggest part of MESBG. That really separates this game from other ones. And I know other games have heroes, but what they can do and what they represent are huge. And so you want to have a way to track them to make sure that you're playing fair. And it's not that hard. Just write it down on a piece of paper. That's what I've been doing, and I think I'm going to stick with that way. It's fun. So, alright. Now you got everything, and you're at the tournament. Now let's get into your first match. So you meet your opponent, and oftentimes, you're probably not going to know the guy if this is your first tournament. Offer a good handshake. In the rulebook, they go over like a bunch of things that, like, you know, don't curse, be professional. Oh, hey, nice to meet you. Are you married? I think all that jazz. But always a good handshake is a nice welcome introduction. Say what your army is. Say what your special rules are. And ask them, what does your army do? And what should I be aware of whenever we start playing? Alright, you're at your first battle now. My first battle was against a guy named Alex. The reason why I'm laughing is he creamed me. He dunked on me. Creamed me? Maybe I should have said that one. He dunked on me. He definitely dunked on me. It was a 12-0 match. I did not stand a chance. He ended up winning, I think, best player in Texas that year. So, you know, it was a good, fun welcome to the league. But in it, I learned so much. And here's what I learned. 1, ask questions. Just ask questions. Look, again, he was super helpful. He was accommodating. He helped me out. Even like, hey, maybe this would be a better play. Again, people want to help you out. We want to help you out and enjoy this hobby. But the other thing that, again, if you're new, please remember this. If there's one thing you take from this video, remember this. Don't leave any might on the table by the end of the match. If your hero's dead, his might is useless. So feel free to do the heroic combats if you feel like it's worth it. Spend the might to kill an expensive unit. Oh, he has a really nice dwarf that was probably worth 11 points. It might be worth spending that 1 point of might to kill him and to make that gap in his army. So please don't leave any might or fate on the table. If you're like me, you were like, well, maybe I can use this later. No, now's not the time. Again, this is going to be something that you're just going to learn throughout as you play. But in the beginning, don't be afraid to use might. It is there. Use it and make some plays. Make some mistakes, but mainly make plays, because that's how you become a better player. And when you start the match, make sure you know what the scenario is. Sometimes it's not worth trying to just beat them to death immediately. There's objectives. There's different end goals, either between breaking at 50 or it ends at 25%. Figure out what those are and make sure that you're playing the objective. I went up against the Black Riders one time, and I literally had 2 Rangers left on the battlefield, and I killed none of his Riders. But those 2 Rangers held objectives while his others didn't, and the game ended, and I won that match. So in the end, sometimes it's not all about killing. Just like in Lord of the Rings. Sometimes you lose the battle, but you win the war. And that's 100% what these are. You'll lose a bunch of battles in a match, but as long as you hold to those key objectives, you get rid of their banner, you get a wound on the general, you might find sometimes that you're going to end up winning the battle. And so remember the scenarios, definitely. And so with that, you're either going to win your first battle or lose your first battle. But you did your first battle, and that's what's important. And just take lessons from it, what your heroes can do, how awesome heroic combating can be, how scary some archery units can be. And honestly, that's probably when you learn your weakness of your army. A lot of armies have weaknesses, and in this new edition, 5 value is really important. So if you don't have a hero that can get to maybe at least fight 6 or 7 without calling heroic strike, you're definitely going to want to plan around that, how you're going to deal with their big heroes. Maybe you have some magic. Maybe you have shooting that's really good. Find a way to eliminate your weaknesses in there. And this is the other thing about MESBG. There's not one army that's just superior. That's never been the case, and I hope it never will become the case. Every army is valuable, and you can make a list, and I promise you, there's going to be 10 people telling you why that list isn't going to work. And there's going to be like 10 other people say, it has a great list. Make the list that you want to play, and as you go along, you'll learn the weaknesses and strengths of it. But again, every army's good. Have fun with them. I mean, that's the thing. And in this edition, the army builder is a little bit different, and we're in the Wild West right now. But so far, it seems like it still holds true. Any army is viable as long as you play it well, and that's the great thing about this game. And so, learn your army, get it together, get good, as some people say. But with that, that's the video. So please, if you found anything useful in this, can you like, subscribe, leave a comment? And if you've been to lots of tournaments before and I missed something that's like, again, the general stuff of like getting people ready for tournaments, drop it down in the comments below. Oh, magnetic tray, best way to carry them. I don't do it. I do a foam tray. I'm too afraid to do magnets, but the magnet tray is superior. Just saying that. So if you want to do that, go for it. But anyways, thank you for making it to the end of this video. I hope you find your first tournament and you enjoy it. And please bring different colored dice. Please use all your might and have fun. We'll talk to you guys next time.